watching The High Road with me, Keith Warren, brought to you by Timber Creek Outdoors.
This is some of the most beautiful as well as rugged country in the world, folks. This is the Fruitland Mesa in Colorado. Hi, I'm Keith Warren and welcome to Hunting and Outdoor Adventures. This week, North Rim Trophy Hunts is going to take me out on a mule deer and elk hunt up on Poison Springs Hill. You won't want to miss this one.
Welcome to Hunting and Outdoor Adventures and back to Colorado. Last week we crossed the Continental Divide on our way to Hotchkiss to go hunting with Rocky Camp of North Rim Trophy Hunts up on Poison Springs Hill.
Well, Poison Springs, we hunt on Poison Springs. It's 9,600 feet high, and it's the highest hilltop on the side of the highway that we hunt on, and primarily all private land. And it's an aspen-covered hill, and there's an old story to the Poison Springs that, as the old story goes, from the Indians back in the late 1800s when the last Indians were there, that was like their last hold on the hill up there. And when the cowboys came in and they had their fight and whatever, and the cowboys won and the Indians were moved off, well, they supposedly had poisoned the water when they left. And the cowboys didn't know it at the time, so when they brought their cows up there and everything, and all the cattle died and everything, and they couldn't figure it out, and they finally figured the water was poisoned, and that's where it got its name, was Poison Springs, which it's long since cleared up now, so we don't have much problem with that.
Rocky set me up to hunt over a water hole, and it was a hunt I won't soon forget.
Folks, this right here, I've managed to take a few mule deer in my life before, but this right here is my best one by far. And I want to tell you something before it gets dark. I'm going to go over a few things. Look at the size of this dude. He is absolutely beautiful. Look at him, all velvet horned.
It was truly an unforgettable hunt, but the excitement was far from over. I went along with Rocky and fellow hunter Rick Floyd to North Rim's Trophy Elk Management Area.
We have our regular elk and mule deer hunts and then combination hunts, all bow season, all through rifle season. Now we also have what we call a trophy elk hunt that's in our Trophy Management Area, which covers about 3,000 acres of native terrain, Rocky Mountain elk, and we do an exclusive trophy elk hunt on this property. And it's just a fantastic hunt. We do all the hunts primarily in September, and we're talking pretty much a guaranteed kill, or the person doesn't have to spend all the money they've spent on all these elk hunts all these years. We take a small down payment, we do a hunt, and if the hunt is successful, the person pays the rest of the money. And it works out pretty nice that way. That way they don't have to, and we're talking 300 class bulls and larger. We've killed some 350 bulls, some 360 bulls, 310 bulls, all through the scale. And the biggest thing I think about this hunt to everybody else's trophy hunt in this manner is ours is hunter's choice. It's the hunter's choice of whatever animal he chooses to take on this hunt.
Welcome back to Hunting and Outdoor Adventures. We had set out early to North Rim's Trophy Management Area to spot and stalk for elk, and things had quickly gotten interesting. This bull was quickly closing the distance on us. We believed he was heading for a wallow we had spotted in the clearing at the bottom of the hill. We were going to keep an eye on him and try to keep ourselves between him and the wallow. We could just make out his antlers through the brush. Rocky tried to bring him to us with some soft cow calling. Then we realized that there were actually 2 bulls. Rocky worked to get us in the right spot while both bulls steadily made their way to us. Rick watched and waited patiently for the bulls to come down into the clearing and give him a shot. The bull in the rear was clearly bigger, and he was steadily heading for the wallow that was behind us and to our left. Rick had never taken a bull with his bow and was rightly excited when this bull stepped out broadside. In his excitement, Rick shot high of the bull's vitals.
Where we hunt in this trophy area, we can use the bow, we can use the rifle. I've had people who choose to carry bow and rifle, and primarily they can hunt with a bow while we try to call elk and everything, and I usually carry the rifle along just so we've got it there for any situations we might need it. You know, you might unfortunately make a bad shot, or you might decide that biggest bull is just a little too far or a little too hard to get close to with that bow, and we might want to take a rifle and get the job done. So it works out really nice that we've got the availability to do these things. If we ever have wounded animals out there, we pursue them relentlessly. We've never lost an animal on this trophy hunt. We've always managed to find these. I've spent 2 days of tracking and hard looking to locate these animals at times. And so we don't stand much chance. The person who wants to take the chance with the bow, I think, is still a good opportunity. And it's minimal amount of times that we've had a problem with that, because we try to take a very well shot, a very close shot. We don't experience any running shots, or we just don't allow anything like that. These hunts are exclusively one-on-one. You'll have a guide with you at all times to make some of these calls and discuss them with you, and situations like that. So it works out really well.
Welcome back to Hunting and Outdoor Adventures. Rocky had skillfully tracked Rick's bull, and an hour and a half later, we found him up on a hillside. That's his rack sticking up above the brush on the right of your screen. The bull to the left is the same one that was with him earlier. Rick set up on the opposing hillside and waited for a clean shot.
Perfect shot.
Rick was shooting a 30-06 rifle with a Federal Premium 165 grain Nosler ballistic tip bullet.
Wow. He's a good one.
Yes, he is.
Took a little doing, but we got him. Wow. Something.
Wow.
He looks good, huh?
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you, Rocky.
I couldn't wait to set out on my own spot and stalk hunt, and I was going to try it with my Savage Stiker 308 caliber handgun.
We give the hunter his choice of bow, muzzleloader, handgun, or rifle on these hunts. We have special tags that allow us to hunt these elk with any weapon that's a legal weapon to hunt with during the month of September, so we can hunt them in the rut. So a lot of times, especially a good rifle elk hunt in September in the rut like that can be very exciting with all the calling and the bugling going on, and it usually turns out to be a very exciting hunt. We spot and stalk as our primary hunt method. And one reason we can do this very successful too is because we have a lot of heavy oak brush and there's a lot of mixed aspen. So with that brush, it's just like, it's thick like the hair on a dog's back. And but there's trails that run all through it in all directions and they just meander all over. So you can spot an elk out a couple of 100 yards. We can spend 2 and 3 hours sometimes putting a stalk on one of these animals. Just keep watching their pattern as how they're moving, and then we move with them. And you can stay in this brush. This oak brush runs like 6 foot to 20 foot high, but it's got a lot of open pockets in it. So you can be behind one bush, have an elk on the other side of this bush 20 yards from you and not even see him.
I could just make out the tips of the bull's antlers above the brush. The breeze was in my face, so he couldn't smell me, but as I maneuvered around to get a clear line of sight, he heard me. The bull wasn't spooked, but he could sense something wasn't right. He casually strolled away to a safe distance. I looked for a good route to get above him on the hill to continue the stalk, but he slipped away. This exciting hunt gave me confidence that given the opportunity, I could get close enough to get a shot. Welcome back to Hunting and Outdoor Adventures. It was mid-afternoon before Rocky and I spotted a bull. We decided to get closer for a better look. Rocky had spotted a fresh wallow down in the valley below us earlier that day and thought this bull might be heading down to cool off. It looked like he was heading that way. We set out in search of a good place to try and intercept. We managed to get into position, but the bull had paused up on the hill to munch on some brush. Was he coming down to the wallow, or was he just out for a snack? It was beginning to look like he was going to stay up there and eat, so we decided to try and go to him and see if we could get a shot. We got a good look at this bull, but he eventually went back up the hill into the thick brush. As the afternoon sun began dropping to the horizon, we knew that there wouldn't be any action at the wallows, so we headed up into the brush to see if we could spot some bulls. We kept thinking we might catch up to that bull and spot him over the next ridge, but we never did see him again. In fact, we didn't see much of anything for most of the afternoon, and I was worried that I'd missed my chance to take a trophy bull elk. The darkness was quickly descending when we spotted this bull in a small clearing. It was the same bull we had seen the day before with Rick's bull, and I decided that this was going to be my trophy. I'd hit the bull with 2 good shots, but I couldn't help being a little anxious. I knew how tough these animals could be. It was getting darker every minute, and this was the biggest bull I'd ever shot. I hoped we could find him.
Well, we shot this bull right at dark, and we ran out of light before we could close out the show, so we wanted to show it to you underneath the lights. And I'll tell you what, it's a 6x6 trophy bull. And folks, I'll tell you what, I have had a great hunt, taking a nice trophy mule deer and a trophy bull elk, all with North Rim trophy hunts. And listen, if y'all want more information, get a pencil and paper ready, because your phone numbers is going to be coming up in just a few seconds. Thanks, Rocky.
You bet, Keith.
We'll see you next week right here on Hunting and Outdoor Adventures.